as he comes in his own way, Mr. Robert Bowie.
I want to thank everybody. I mean, your presence here is the most important thing. As we said, we see empty seats here, and the presence here alone is why we do what we do here. So I'd like to start off by saying that, the first thing I like to do after thanking God, my mother here, she's over there sitting there with me with my books. She's been a single parent my entire life. So I like to exalt her for playing two roles of mother and father. Thank you, Mom. Now, fatherhood is a journey. And it's a journey I kind of got forced into because I don't have any children right now. When I made my transition into a different life, and this is my testimony here, I came to the conclusion that I no longer desired anything the world had to offer. Nothing. I didn't want money, I didn't want girls, I didn't want cars, I didn't want to satisfy my ego, I didn't want any of that stuff anymore. All I wanted was what God had for me. So, a lot of people don't do this. I heard it from a lot of elders in the church. You gotta break down, you gotta cry out to God. You gotta get on your knees, you gotta cry out. Well, I was bouncing at a club, and a young man, 19 years old, got killed in my club. All over dancing, money, the ego, the stuff that we chase, being young. So seeing this happen, it was devastating. I no longer desired anything the world had to offer because I seen the outcome for it. Now, when I was bouncing, I was almost stabbed in the scuffle. So when I got home, I was checking myself for injuries, and I was like, man, I'm really appreciative for my life. And I cried out on one knee, like the elders of the church had always been telling me. I don't want anything this world has to offer. All I want is what you have for me. So 3 days later, I started a project with this children's book. I've been drawing my entire life. Yes. All my life. It's a gift from God. We all have them. We just got to figure out what it is. So 3 days later, since I called and cried out, begging for him, please show up. I want nothing but you. With the gift he gave me, I started a project of children's books. Yes. So this started at the beginning. I started my children's book at the beginning of this year. This year, I completely transformed. Completely, as Collins here said, transcended. I completely changed after crying out to God. Right. Now, this transition, it was really awkward because I'm not a father, and out here I'm called to father children. Now, with book readings, daycares, and elementary schools, I see the role that I'm playing now. I'm now fathering these children. I'm now teaching and educating. So I then realized the role of fathers that we have here. So to be a man, which everybody needs to man up, to be a man means to have responsibilities and to take care of those responsibilities. Well, being a father, teaching, a creative educator, I see that the responsibility of a father and a man is to nurture and provide for children. Seeing that children are the way of the future, they are the exact carbon copy and replica of what we are. So as I'm teaching to children and I'm reading to the children, I see that the persona I have is what they like and what they gravitate to. That's a very, very impact. Now, this is the word we're all familiar with the word trendsetter, but that's what a father is. A father is a trendsetter. As we've heard earlier, the man that he is going to be the type of man that their daughters gravitate to. The man that they are is the type of man that their boys are going to grow into. We are the trendsetters. That's why the children are the future, because they do what we do now in the future. That's a very, very important scenario that we must realize, and we must man up and face forward to take those responsibilities. Now, becoming a father, I realize that it is a journey. Everybody who has children, I just teach children, it is a journey. And I know that it is a journey because not only do you have to nurture and grow the child, but you yourself grow. You learn responsibility to take care of those child. That's what makes this fatherhood, this trend setting, a journey. So in this journey, I noticed my behavior and the trends that I was setting. My younger brother, he's actually 21 right now. He'll be 21. When I was younger, 19 years old, as we all know, I had my pants sagging, had my grill in my mouth, you know, shawty on the thug. That's how I was. And I noticed when my younger brother turned 18, 19 years old, he was doing the exact same thing that I was doing. Same sagging pants, same type of clothes, same appearance. He was giving off the same energy and vibes I was. But then I noticed once I did this transition and I transcended and changed, because I know I'm a trendsetter, because I'm a man who has responsibilities, which makes me a father. So once I made this transition, and now I dress in slacks and collars and I wear ties, my younger brother started doing the exact same thing. And I'm just mind blown, like, wow, this is the power that we have. This is why the children are the future, because they're going to do exactly what they see us do. I took my responsibility as a father that has no offsprings to go ahead and man up and face forward and be the example and set the trend for the future. It's got to be a bright one.
All right.
And it's up to us to make it a bright one.
Yeah, you deep, man. That's deep.
Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, this is that presence, the energy y'all give is why we do this. I thank you so much. So I transformed, and now I man up. I live every day to set a better trend for the youth to be. That's our goal as a man. That's what man is: responsibilities, nurturers and providers, fathers. We are here to father the earth, father the society, and the development of the world. So we must face forward and do this. Now, I prepared when I got aware of this event. I talk about this a lot as far as fathers facing forward and our roles to the children. So I was entertained and intrigued, like, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. But I had nothing prepared. I just know that this is what I do and I can do this. But I had nothing prepared. I have no notes, I have no anything. I'm just speaking from the heart, where we all should stay at. But I prepared a piece. So this past Monday, I'm thinking on the necessity of fathers facing forward. It's been a dire topic on my mind. It's hard how to create a resolution for what's going on. So I get to writing. I've been a lyricist for a long time, but I've never really been a poet. So I decided to do what I do best as far as to deliver my emotions on fathers facing forward. So this is what we can call this, because I really haven't titled it. I just wrote this Monday for this event. So I will title this Fathers Facing Forward. A lot of fathers drop the ball, and this I understand. But it seems to be an epidemic within us black men. We mistreat our women, and we seldom raise our kids. The black man acts like we don't know how to be men. So please let me explain how this got to where it is, because the problem dates back to us being captive. We lost our culture, our names, our language, and our land. But the most precious thing taken were our minds to be men. But that's not important. That stuff is boring and better off ignoring. It's time to move onward. Wouldn't you agree? It's time to move onward. So after shipped across seas and sailed to a foreign land where our captors raped us, our women, and our kids, beat us into labor, and fed the scraps of pigs, all to build a country for a group of other men. All knowledge was taken, how to provide a way to live, and with no access and no means on them we would depend. Self-value was removed with our desire to defend, and these minds that we're molding were inherited by our kin. But that's not important. That stuff is boring and better off ignoring. It's time to move onward. Wouldn't you agree? It's time to move onward. So now our minds operate on carnal concernings, sexual urges, appetites, and hungers. Concerned with the self and not a path for the younger, or even to take heed to the future that's coming. Instead of planning ahead, we sit and do nothing except laugh, drink, and party, ranting and running. We go on living life and thinking it's nothing except flossing and stunting and gossip discussions, but that's not important. That stuff is boring and better off ignored. I say now, it's time to move onward. Wouldn't you agree? It's time to move onward. So knowing united their strength, we were kept separated. Yes, father, mother, and child were kept segregated. So though we had a family, we never had the chance to raise it. This evolved and still exists 400-something years later. What is going on? This isn't in our nature. This is not the minds we were given by our Creator. To have no conscience and walk out on our babies. No, sir, brothers, but that is what they made us. So this is important, and this isn't boring, and it's time to stop ignoring. It's not time to move onward. Fathers, it's time for us to move forward. Thank you.
Come on, y'all, clap that up again. We got a few people that walked out, so we need you to clap a little harder.